सत श्री अकाल जी and namaste and hello. Welcome back to Radio Punch. So मैं थोड़ी अपनी host सभी and we are back with another interview. And आज जिन्ना दी मैं interview जान जारिया is Atul Mongia, who is an amazing acting coach in the Bollywood industry, who is also a writer, a director as well. So today we will get to know how it is mentoring actors in the Bollywood industry, and he is also running workshops all over India and recently doing one in London. So we will get to know more about it, how the workshops work. So आज ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ with Atul. So ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ and welcome.
Hi Savita, glad to be here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Atul. And first of all, congratulations for all the work you're doing, which is going really well. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ, workshops you are doing and recently doing one in London as well.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to coming to London. It's my first time. I've actually not even been to the city for leisure so yeah, first time, very excited.
Oh, perfect. So, first of all, हम थोड़ा सा जानना चाहेंगे, especially जो हमारे listeners हैं, कि where Atul, belongs from, उनका background कहाँ से है. So, अगर आप थोड़ा सा उसके ऊपर touch कर सकते हो.
Yeah, actually my father was in the army, so in that sense I'm a true born like pan India kid because I never stayed in one place. So har bar har alag alag shehar mein 10 different schools. So that kind of upbringing was very 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 nice for me because we were we saw the country, we saw different cultures, we grew up with so many different people and friends. So yeah, very very happy about that. But last about 22, 23 years, I've been in Bombay. So that's home now.
That's home now, Bombay. Yeah. So, Atul, if you can touch a bit on your journey, because if I'm not wrong, to see Jira acting mentor, you have started at a very young age, from 21, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
So just tell me a bit about how it all started. How did you want to get into, acting, mentoring, helping artists?
It actually happened by accident because at 19, 20, I was very sure I wanted to be an artist. And at that time, the only person I knew was Barry John, who's a very acclaimed teacher in India. He still teaches in Bombay, and he was my first acting guru. And I went to him and asked him that if there's a way that he could suggest, what should I do? I had no idea. And he asked me to join him in his school. And I actually became a teacher by accident. I was not looking to become one.
Okay.
And it just so happened that I felt like I was like a fish in water the moment I was in that territory. And it came very naturally to me, mentoring, teaching. I think certain personalities just lend themselves better to certain professions. And I just happened to be one of them.
Oh, that's amazing. And are you like the first in the family? किसी और ने भी आपके family में किया हुआ है in this field?
I don't think, not in 4 generations, left, right, top, bottom, no.
Oh, wow. So you're the first. That's amazing. So tell us a bit about, casting, because obviously you probably know more behind the scenes. Kitna kaam lagta hai to be actually facing the camera. So what do you enjoy in casting and mentoring? Aap kya enjoy karte ho uske andar?
Casting, I've not been doing for some time, but yes, I was a casting director for 7 years. Casting is very, at a time when I became a casting director, it wasn't given that much prominence. And I feel, when we have a production designer who's called onto a set to design the look of and the feel of the set and how it should look, the interiors and what should be the color scheme be, all of those things they do. Similarly, the job of the casting director is also to design the film with the actors that you are bringing in. So, you create a world. It's not just about the top 3-4 people. I mean, that obviously is important. But the most exciting part is always these smaller characters. For me, when I was casting, it was always that we call them tertiary parts, people with one scene or scenes. Because it's those 1-2 scene actors who eventually will infuse life and, create a beautiful world. So, yeah, casting is very fun in the sense that even the smallest of parts sometimes can take a month to cast, and you really put in that effort to make it happen, which didn't used to happen 10, 15 years back. So it's with the infusion of these newer casting directors who are also now doing very good work that now it has become the norm,
Definitely, yeah. So moving on to obviously the workshops, how did the Artist Collective start? So obviously you started the Artist Collective, which is mentoring, giving the guidance for artists that want to come in this field and already successful artists as well. So वो idea कैसे आया आपके mind में कि ये शुरू करना है आपको?
I think that too just happened. I'd been doing workshops for some time, and there was this boy called Akhil Iyer in his mid 20s who had done a workshop with me in
जी
2016, 17, and he and I clicked, and we said, "Let's do something together." Worked on a few things, and he was an actor, also a producer on ad films. So we just kind of combined his skill of producing and my skill of mentoring to form a company so that we can do both under one roof. So
जी.
that's how the Artist Collective came about.
Oh, that's brilliant. So obviously India में काफी मशहूर है. It's running all around India. I think you've done it in many cities. So अब London में आ रहा है. So
Yes.
tell our viewers and listeners a bit about what are we going to see in the workshop. It's a 6-day workshop in London. So
Right.
if you can touch on that, क्या हम देखेंगे, क्या सीखने को मिलेगा?
So, from the beginning when I've been doing workshops, I realized a lot of the things that actors need is not skill, is not acting training, it's not diction, it's not voice. We sometimes work on acting in parts, but it's actually not about, it's about the totality of the being that you are. So a lot of the work that we do in the workshops is to work on the person and the self, because more often than not, whenever we are stuck in life and when we are not reaching somewhere as an actor, it's because we are stuck in our own life, and that's why we are not able to break free in certain aspects. So
जी
very strangely, a lot of my workshops are about working on the self, and it's through the work that we do on the self that we realize that as a byproduct that even your acting becomes better. So it is a very unique process. I don't know if anybody else does this. I mean, now a lot of people have started doing it, but yeah, I think it was a very different process, which was not being done earlier. So yeah, I'm the results that we have found through this process have been quite phenomenal. So I'm very happy.
No, that's amazing. And I think जब ऐसे workshops होते हैं, it's very supporting. काफी support मिल जाती है for artists. So is this workshop open to everyone? Like for beginners or people to have an interest in acting, is it open to everyone?
It's open to everybody. You just have to be 18 years of and above. That's it. Apart from that, there is no. I mean, you can be of any color, creed, gender. It doesn't matter. Now, whether you're an actor, you're a non-actor, whether you've never done it before, whether you've done 30 films before. I'll tell you why it is open to everybody, because our process is such that we don't make everybody stand in a line and make them do one thing. Each person is made to go through what they need. So it is very, very tailor made for each person. And hence, everybody is gauged for the level that they are coming at. And yeah, so it's open to everybody.
That's brilliant. I'm sure people will be excited and enjoying the experience, whoever do join. I mean, this is a bit of a different question. Obviously, you've been in the field, you've seen the industry. Did you personally ever think to be an actor or get into acting? आपने कभी सोचा था?
I mean, you do, see, when you start, that's the only
Yeah.
thing you know. And yes, of course, when I was 19, 20, because that's the only thing. And I had also done an acting course. That's how I met Barry John. So at that time you think, but very soon I made a short film when I was 24, 25, which is when I realized that this is far more exciting for me. And I'm actually much more happier being behind the camera.
Oh, that's brilliant. So obviously you have worked with many successful artists like Anushka Sharma, Ranveer, Kara Advani, Vicky Kaushal, and then in our Punjabi industry as well, Sonam, Vamika. So I would like to know ki, when it's you come to basically mentoring like artists, what do you believe are key factors? Kya mind mein hona chahiye that are important you believe to be able to become, successful in that line?
Yeah, I mean, if you talk specifically as an actor, I would definitely say that empathy plays a very big role. If we
Okay.
empathetic as people, then we are able to connect with characters and not judge them, and we are able to find nuances in the character, and we can feel for what the character is going through. Another very, very important aspect that people need to have is honesty in their person and in their self,
Ji.
because all of art is about reaching your truth. And unless and until we are aspiring to reach that truth in our own being, in our own life, we won't be able to achieve it in our art. And another thing that I would definitely say is that as an actor, you have to be extremely malleable. You know,
Yeah,
we can't have fixed notions of this is how I think it should be done, because especially in cinema, every director you will work with will have their own process.
of
So
course.
it's so we have to be so malleable that anybody can come and make us play like clay. You know,
Yeah.
so we need to reform ourselves, and we need to kind of go into the process of whatever film and whatever director that we're working with. Not have notions of, acha, this is subtle acting is good or loud acting is bad. Not have any of such notions. You know, one an actor should be able to achieve anything, any kind of acting, any kind of form. You know, the form should not restrict the truth of the person as an artist. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say these things. And lastly, I would add that anybody who's successful in Bombay, they work really hard. So I mean, if you're somebody who likes to party too much, in the sense that you want long vacations, you want a comfortable life, then it's not going to happen for you. I mean, if work is not a criteria for you, not a priority for you, you will not reach the successes that you want.
I think that's a very important point because हमको लगता है कि चलो just on the screen, everything's easy, ज़्यादा काम नहीं शायद लगता होगा, just scene दे दिया and that's it. But behind the scenes काफी महीने लग जाते हैं, if I'm not wrong, to work on
I
it.
I don't think महीने साल लग जाते हैं.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, each film takes 2 to 3 years to make, you know,
yeah,
and as an actor also, if you're successful, you're doing at least 3 to 4 projects a year. And apart from that, you're doing brand endorsements. Apart from that, you're doing Instagram, social media commitments. You're doing public relation work. You're doing interviews. You're meeting fans. It is relentless. It is nonstop.
of
You
course,
know, so it's a lot of work. What as an audience we look at as entertainment is a lot of hard work. You know, each
yeah,
character that an actor gets into, they start their prep a month before, and you know they need to stay in that zone. So it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of work. You know,
definitely,
each actor, I would say, successful people are working at least 320, 330 days in a year.
yeah.
And even then, you know, they have sometimes 14-hour days, sometimes 12 hours days. And these are, I mean, 14-hour work days are long, long time.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I did like that you mentioned is honesty is key. So honest one is very important, which obviously leads to, better opportunities. So definitely. So moving on to obviously a series you did as well, MAI, A Mother's Rage. So वो लोगों ने काफी enjoy किया था, and it was a different type of series लोगों के लिए to see. So how did that come together? How did you manage to put it together? क्या आपके मन में आया था, for this type of series to come out?
Ma'am, this was it's a very interesting. So I've been writing scripts for since a long time, since
Yeah,
2009. And I've been pitching, and it's very funny. You know, I've worked on scripts for 2 years, and you know how sometimes things just take time to get made. They don't get made. The right time is not there. Sometimes you've not written a good script. There are
yeah,
many factors. I had this rule of that I'm going to write every single day. I had a rule for 3 years that I will write every single day. And at that time, I was writing a script, but I was just so tired of that script that I needed a break from it. And because I was taking a break, I was like, okay, it's my rule to write every day. Now I have to write something else.
yeah,
And this thought came in my head that what if my mother, who's one of the most you know, harmless people I ever know in my life, if somebody like her was to be in a situation where she has to deal with criminals, then what would it be like?
yeah.
And that germ, you know, came the idea of my. In fact, the character's name, Sheel Chaudhary, is actually my mother's name.
Oh
So
wow.
I gave the character my mom's name just so that I always remember who's the person I'm writing it for. You know, so that you don't become too filmy and you always stick to the docileness of the personality. Um, so yeah, so when I was so it was actually just an exercise for me at the time. I was not looking to make it, but sometimes even when you're doing writing something as a writing exercise, sometimes they turn out to be written well. And in 10 days I had what we call a bible is a pitch document. I had a bible which was pretty decent.
Ji.
And then luckily 2 years later, you know, it just got picked at Netflix and it got made. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So obviously you've been writing for a lot of time. What other stories have you enjoyed personally? If you had to pick one, a few for us today out of your selection.
I would say lately I really enjoyed 12th Fail as a film.
Yes.
I also liked Lapata Lady as a film lately.
Yeah.
I mean, these are two films from last year that I really enjoyed, and I thought they both had a very unique voice, and they were not trying to be homogeneous with every other content that's out there.
Of
So I think every time a maker does something very honest to who they
course.
are, what they're feeling in that moment, something good comes out. Because both Lapata Ladies and 12th Fail are films that will not come under your typical of, okay, these films will be successful, so let's make them.
Yes.
And so sometimes you just need to kind of stick to your guns of what you believe in. And also, I mean, they also had the backing of two very strong producers, with Unu Chopra as a producer himself, Kiran Rao had Amir Khan. So of course, when you have that kind of backing, then such stories get made. Otherwise, it's very tough to make such stories. But having said that, you're getting the opportunity to still make a good film out of it. It's that takes a lot, and I think both Mr. Chopra and Ms. Rao really achieved that very well.
Definitely, definitely. So, moving on to your personal taste. What is your personal taste when it comes to writing or selecting, movies? Like, is it more emotional, romantic, thriller? आपका क्या taste है?
I like dramas. I like thrillers. I
Okay.
actually enjoy a good love story, but
Yeah.
they're very few. I don't
Yeah.
think, I don't even remember the last good love story I liked. For example, if I have to say, like Normal People is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
I think it's such a great love story. You really feel the love for between those two people.
Yeah.
It's a great script. It's made very well. The treatment, the actors are great. So yeah, I mean, I would love to make something like a Normal People myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So, would you be willing to basically, do you have any plans to, direct, write further series or further scripts?
Yeah. I mean, we are always hustling. That's what we do
Okay.
as
Yeah.
writers. We're always writing. We're always pitching. So yeah, I mean, when I want to, but sometimes, when you are, like I said, when you want to tell stories with your own very unique voice, I don't know whether my voice is good or not, but it is unique. It becomes tougher to get films made.
Yeah.
But when you write something which is the flavor of the year, then it becomes slightly easier to get them made. So I think the journey can be sometimes longer
Yeah.
for people who want to make their stories. But I'm hoping that someone will connect with what I'm writing, and I'll get to make it.
Of course, no, we hope for the best and hopefully we will get to see more from yourself. So moving on to obviously our artists, is there anyone in mind you would probably like to collaborate in the future, in the coming future? Any of
Yeah,
the artists? Have you ever thought of it?
definitely. I mean, I enjoyed working with everybody, and
Yeah,
but if I have to pick one, then it'll have to be Sakshi, because I think she really did a phenomenal job. Very seldom does an actor come and they take what is on paper and then they lift it and they make it even better. So I thought she really did a fabulous job of
yeah,
creating
that's
that character.
that's amazing. So over the years, who do you believe has been your role model or inspiration that you've always kept in mind?
It's very tough to pick one,
Yeah.
but as a director, I would say, and as an Indian director, I've always admired Shekhar Kapoor a lot,
Yeah,
because every film he makes, it is so different from anything else he's made. He can do a Bandit Queen also, he can do a Elizabeth also, he can do a Masoom also, he can do a Mr. India also. I mean, that's just crazy. How
yeah,
can one person? It feels like they're different directors, you
yeah.
know. So yeah, it's very inspiring to know that he's come from the same roots as us, as me, and then to go ahead and make such an illustrious career with such great films.
Yeah. How do you manage to manage it all? You're writing, you're mentoring, doing workshops, and directing. How do you manage to कैसे कर लेते हो सब manage?
हो जाता है यार. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so complicated. I mean, when you're directing, then at that time you can't do much. You can't do other
Yeah.
things, because it's all time. It's very time specific, and you have to give 16 hours just to that thing for 4 months. So at that time, you don't do mentoring, you don't do writing. But when you're writing, along with writing, you can do mentoring. So you can do those things side by side. So yeah, you manage. I
Yeah.
mean, we. I'm just glad that I have a few things to rely on, because lately, like the industry has been going through a slump for the last 1 year, and a
Yeah.
lot of my friends who are pure directors or pure writers, they've been facing a lot of trouble with lesser work, and every technician is facing that. And in the times like this, you feel fortunate that you have three, four things to rely on,
Yeah.
and I feel everybody should have that in their life.
Of
Yeah.
course, definitely. So moving on to personally, what else are your hobbies apart from your profession? What else does Atul enjoy?
I have a new hobby which I'm
Yeah.
quite crazy about, and I'm sure people play it in London also. I've just started playing paddle,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to actually find some courts in London also while I'm there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty obsessed with the game right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. So if you could recall the dates for us. So from which dates happening the London workshop?
Yes, 17th of November to the 22nd. It's
Yeah.
a 6 day workshop. It'll be a full day workshop, morning till evening. And it's being conducted in central London. There's a studio called Husky Studio, so which is pretty centrally located for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm hoping that your show can also, even though we have very few, like just one or two seats left. It's pretty actually the batch is almost full.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have a couple of seats left. So if through your show also, if somebody wants to hear and join, that'll be great.
Of course, no, definitely. And moving on to last question is what are your future plans now? So अभी आपने क्या सोचा हुआ है? What you want to accomplish in the coming future?
I'll be very honest with you. I don't think too much about the future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like to be in the present. I don't like to be in the past or the future too much. Of course, we should all have goals, and maybe I can also have some goals. But I feel all of us are never where we are meant to be, which
Yeah,
is this moment. So I feel instead of focusing on what I want to achieve in the future, I focus on what I want to achieve in the present. And so, yeah, that's how I function. At least I attempt to function like that.
of course. No, no, I think that's a beautiful way of saying it to present more, be more present, focus more on the present, not hoping for the future too much. So that is amazing. And yeah, lastly, what would you like to say for our listeners?
I would say that, guys, Savita is doing a great job. So give
Oh,
her
thank
lots of
you.
thumbs up.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Atul, I wish you all the very best for the workshop happening in London, and I'm sure people will enjoy it. And I think you are doing an amazing job for our artists. People that want to come in this industry. Obviously, everyone do look up to, you can say, a guru or a mentor. So you, I guess, are in that form for many artists. So yeah, we wish you all the very best. So thank you very
Thank you,
much for
sir.
being with us today.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.